Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good, dude. Happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa. I think tomorrow's the last day of Hanukkah. So to all listening, happy time right now. Where's life for you? We have a different background. Let the people know where you're at.
Yep. So back home at LA, got back on Friday. So it's nice being here and seeing family and friends over the past few days. A little under the weather, so if you're listening, I apologize if I cough every now and then. I don't know what the hell I have, because I feel completely fine besides the cough.
Damn.
Yeah, hopefully it goes away soon.
Dude, that was my fear. So my wife, dude, just crazy thing. This past weekend was the first weekend in 4 weeks that I was home, bro. So like, I was just so grateful. Like, I was like, oh wow, I can just sit outside in my house and do nothing on a Saturday. But bro, Gina got sick like last Monday, like a week ago. So I was like, oh bro, like she's gonna get it. And then we leave to Thailand in 2 days. So I'm like, she's gonna get it. Well, she got sick, and then so it's gonna give her like a couple days. Then I'm gonna get it, right? Because I have like a little bit stronger immune system, and then we're all gonna be fucked. So thankfully, bro, I've been just emergencying it nonstop, like all the immunity shots, trying to work out so I can just sweat anything into my system. Because like, yo, my biggest fear is I'm on a 30-hour flight and I'm just like, bro,
Right,
like that's
right.
the if I was another passenger, I'd be like, yo, get this guy the fuck off the plane. You know?
When is that again? What date?
Christmas Day, bro.
Oh,
Yeah.
Christmas
So
Day.
like, yeah, it's lit. We leave, Christmas Day. So we're gonna wake up, do a couples workout, have a nice little Christmas at the house. Our flight's not till 7 p.m. at night, God willing. And then we're gonna go into the MX lounge at like 3 o'clock and just get like wasted for like 2-3 hours, and then hopefully just pass out the entire flight.
Nice. And you come back what, like the 6th or something?
The 7th. The 7th, yeah.
7th.
So it's a
Okay.
full 2 weeks. Yeah.
Nice. That's gonna be
bro.
fun.
Super excited, bro. Like again, there's been like a little like family drama, and then like her getting sick, and then like us going. I was just like, bro, like I don't want to get my hopes up, and like God forbid we like actually like we can't leave that day. But it's close enough. So hopefully when this episode comes out, I'm already enjoying the Thailand beach. Question for you though, bro, because you also went when you went to Korea and Japan. You were gone for like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks.
Did you do laundry while you were there? Like what's the problem? Like, how much like clothes are you bringing when you like these kind of trips?
So for our trip, we did have a chance to do laundry in the middle of the trip at the Airbnb. So I think I like prepared maybe, I think 5 days worth of clothes.
Okay.
And then that way doing laundry once, I basically had enough for like the rest of the trip. But yeah, it's pretty simple. And then, we also, I think one of the hotels had like a laundry service, but yeah, in any case, I basically packed like half the trip's worth of clothes.
Yeah. Because my thing, we're going for 14 days. I'm like, bro, if I have to bring essentially 20 plus outfits, I'm like, bro, this is going to take up like all my shit's like,
Right.
obviously, because I'm fucking 6'6", like everything is massive. So I'm like,
Yeah.
Thank God at least I don't have to bring any coats or anything. Like it's all like beach, like linen
That's
pants attire.
Too. Like with beach stuff, I've found myself like when we go to Hawaii, I'll wear like the same fucking pair of shorts, maybe like two at most, same two like tank tops, and then all the other shit I'm not really wearing.
Keep it moving. Yeah, just keep it moving. Yeah, no. I just packed. That's why I needed like an extra 5 minutes. I'm like, bro, I'm almost there. Let me just like get these like last underwears in so I can just like not deal with this. Because tomorrow we're gonna do like a Christmas Eve happy hour. Again, that's the benefit. I'm like excited. Like we don't have to wake up and like try to be on a plane by like 7 a.m., which means like waking up at like 4 a.m. So the fact that we can wake up and do our own thing on Christmas Day, I'm looking forward to it.
Dope.
But how about you, bro? So are you in LA for New Year's or no?
No, so I'm heading back the day before my birthday, so Thursday, I want to say. But doing all the rounds with family and friends before then, obviously spending Christmas with family. New Year's, I think over time what makes it tricky now is we have work then essentially 2 days after, so it's always been a headache like trying to do anything big, even if it is local to us. So usually we just prefer to wind down at home for a few days and then usually do nothing on New Year's, but this year, some friends potentially may have something small at their apartment, but beyond that, we try to keep it low key nowadays.
If it's not a weekend New Year's, like if it's not like a New Year's Eve on like a Thursday, so you have Friday, then Saturday, Sunday off.
If that's the case, I think, yeah, we definitely plan ahead and try to do something a little more interesting. But again, it's like one of those weird holidays where, like, I don't know, I feel this overwhelming pressure for it to be fun, because once it starts, like, you're not gonna go home and like sleep. Like, the night starts at like 7, and then you're basically stuck for 6 hours
at least. Like, so it is that, because like I feel like recently when I go out, like you'll end up having a great night. You're like, oh shit, I've been out for like 6-7 hours, right? But that's like the oh shit moment. Like, if you know for a fact it has to be like a 6 or 7 hour night, you're like, oh bro, there's no way this is gonna be a good time.
Right, exactly. And then you don't want to like show up late or start late. But yeah, hopefully it's a fun one this year.
Yeah, well, at least next year, you know for a fact you're gonna have a long weekend, so plan for that.
For sure.
Cool. Well, let's get into it, bro. Last episode of the year, episode 199, year in review. Little predictions, sorry, for 2025. Episode 198 is up and everywhere, bro. I don't know if did you see any of our engagement on Instagram on some of the posts recently for from last week?
Not the recent ones.
Bro, so like I don't know if people get triggered by my face talking about GNX, bro, but like, you know, like I don't know if it's like the Drake similarities, dude, but like I literally praise the album, and then it's just like, nah, the album sucks. Album's trash. You guys clearly don't listen to other music. It was actually a phenomenal year in 2024. And I'm like, bro, I thought like people saying that 2024 was this terrible year in music was like unanimous. Like, I didn't even know there was like an opposing view on that, bro.
It's funny you say that, because I obviously see the YouTube ones a bit more often. And the same thing. Some dude wrote a paragraph. He's like listing all the other good albums. He's like, you guys just have bad taste in music. I'm like, damn, we keep literally can't win with the internet. Like, I don't. That's not the goal, but we can.
Correct. Dog, I was just like, come on, man. Like, I'm like, this is what you're pushing back on. But again, all good. I appreciate the engagement. Comments are going crazy. So yeah, keep commenting and liking our stuff. So we'll start simple. Little look back in 2024. I kind of want to start here. I feel like for you and I, then jump in if I'm incorrect. But for you and I, we would have to say everything 2024, Kendrick would have to be the MVP, right? Is that a safe assumption?
Yeah, I think there's no disputing that.
Right, the Super Bowl, the beef, the bodies of work, the tweets that he's put out, the pop out show, like all of it was a win, right? So just I don't want to dismiss him, but I think we've spoken about him enough this year. So removing Kendrick Lamar from the MVP, because he clearly was the definitive winner, who would be the other guy or gal who was the MVP in your books?
The other guy or gal who like had a phenomenal year or is deserving of praise. Oh man, that's a tough one. If you have someone in mind, feel free to go, but I might need a second for that one.
I was gonna say, dude, I was gonna say either, and I wanted to talk about either Playboi Carti for all the features that popped out and just kind of like still like was able to just be so like drive everyone to, you know, be obsessed with his content, regardless of how, you know, weird or not it is. And then the other one was going to be Travis Scott, bro. Like, again, I feel like even though he didn't drop an album, the way that people were still going to his concerts, especially globally, to see those visuals, and then also him, you know, with the sneaker drops with Jordan Brand, like I know I was thinking between one of those two as like a backup for MVP of 2024.
Got it. Okay, I definitely agree with those points. I think personally, I would say Tyler the Creator.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is I think for the first time ever, I've heard him enter like a big three artist conversation, and to the point where some people online were trying to replace, I guess, J. Cole's spot with Tyler the Creator, and I don't think that was ever
So Kendrick, Tyler, and Drake?
Yeah, essentially those three.
Interesting.
And I've never heard that comparison.
I've never heard that. Yeah.
And obviously his album did very well, like seemingly very last minute promotion, probably on purpose. And it seems like he's now being treated as a great, like up there with, the Pharrells and Kanye's and stuff. Whereas it's so odd, no pun intended. Like back in the Odd Future days, he was kind of like a jokester, almost like people didn't really take him seriously, thought he was weird. And now he's like one of the spokesmen of
hip hop in general,
and culture and hip hop and whatever you want to call it. So I think he catapulted himself to a new height, whether intentional or not.
Yeah, dude, I feel like I would agree with you too, but it's just weird because like I know the album came and like people enjoyed it. I enjoyed it when it came out. I think you did as well. But I don't know, bro. I feel like his overall impact on the year, and this is not like, I'm not trying to like diminish his impact, but like I feel like whatever he ended this year as, he's kind of been that guy, right? Like I don't think the album did or didn't do anything for him. Like I feel like he's been catapulted into that, I don't know, top 3, top 5, top 10. But like when you're speaking of like who's relevant in hip hop, I feel like you have to bring up Tyler, right? Like I don't know if the album dropping this year did or didn't do anything for him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And that's kind of how I feel about like, I guess potentially any example that we'd bring up. Like I've always felt like Cardi, for whatever reason, is like the guy, even though his like return versus effort seemingly is like unmatchable by any human being on this planet. I swear this nigga says 8 words and like somehow that's just deserving of a Grammy or some shit. But kudos to him. I really liked his verse on Timeless. I think it's probably maybe my favorite verse of the year. And Travis, same with him, like seemingly always just putting on a show, and
people are always talking about him for one reason or the other.
Yeah, so he's like kind of always a goat too.
Yeah, no, I agree. But that's interesting. Yeah, I've never heard the putting Tyler in the top 3 conversation before. That's very interesting.
Yeah, that was the single most thing that made me say, oh shit, like he's done something different, because people don't throw around big 3 that loosely.
Agreed. Yeah, we can go with that one. I think Audio Theory can support that. So we'll go Tyler as if we can't give Kendrick Lamar the MVP because it's him, who would be second. So I would go with Tyler as well. So just to go back, so people don't think we're being too dismissive. So you as a Kendrick fan, how will you summarize his overall impact on everything this year?
I would say it was immense. It was almost like a Cat Williams, what Cat Williams did to like the
beginning of the year, like,
or whatever.
Yeah.
It seemed like Kendrick shook up the industry, forced people to, pay more attention to lyrics and lyricism, and I think just revitalized hip hop. And that's something that people have been begging for so long. And by the end of this year, he still continues to do that, and I think it's raising a bar that should have been raised a long ass time ago. So I feel like his year's phenomenal, and I think people are praising him for that. It seems like his mission is bigger than himself. Yeah.
I mean, dude, all those things. I think he had a tremendous year, and I think it's undeniable. If you're gonna have to pick one winner, there's no way you can not pick him, right? I think that this is the one year where it's like a landslide. Who would you go with most improved artist of the year?
Most improved artist?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Most improved. Again, a very low bar nowadays. There's got to be like an easy answer for this that I'm missing, but
I guess also most improved can maybe go under. I mean, think about like steady progress, maybe most consistent, that kind of thing too. Kind of like maybe something like lump all those things into one.
For some reason I'm leaning towards I'm leaning towards 21 Savage. Was it? This was the year he released the Red Rum and all that, right?
Yeah, that was like
America's-
beginning. That was January. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, like, I think I just given his like dark concepts and stuff, I just wouldn't expect him to put out anything that is like worth listening to. At least like a body of work. But his last album was, I think, maybe he was definitely one of my most listened to artists of the year, and I think he's underrated in terms of his wordplay, just because the content is so like just dark and not positive. Yeah. So it's easy to dismiss it. But I think the production and concepts and all of that was just a lot better than I had expected from him when I first discovered him, 7 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's this year established himself as like someone to take seriously as an artist.
Yeah.
Can't co-sign his performances at all, but his project was amazing.
But like almost like take him serious as like a solo artist, right? As opposed to like, oh, that guy they add on like the not the hooks, but like as a feature to be like, oh, we have the thug angle on this album, or like gangster angle on this album.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I can see that because I feel like this has been by far his best solo project, even though he's had other better ones. So like, yeah, I can see why you would pick him, dude. So for me, the first person that came to mind was Don Toliver. And more so, not that like his last album to this album was this massive jump, but I think for him to drop a very good project this year, and then now you start looking at his overall career, and you're like, oh wow, this guy is like just steadily becoming like one of those guys. And I think when he dropped the album this year, it just felt like, all right, this is different, right? We need to start maybe looking at you a different way, and I feel like that was like cemented this year. Whereas in the past, I was like, oh, that's cool. And like, yeah, as a Don Toliver feature, I want to listen to it. But this was like, nah, bro, I want to listen. I'm looking forward to a Don Toliver album drop. And I don't think that's ever been the case for maybe the majority of people previously.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like this year, this is a really good one because it seemed like he finally found himself, which is weird to say because I don't think his sound or anything has really changed, but it seems like people like he's escaped the being like Travis Scott's sidekick essentially.
Yeah. I don't think he's outgrown Travis, but I think he can stand on his own now, right? Like he's like a headliner in his own right? Like obviously he's not like a Travis Scott headliner, but he's no longer like the little names on Rolling Loud. Like he is. People are going to Rolling Loud to see Don Toliver now specifically.
Yeah, and not the guy that just did the Can't Say feature.
Yeah. That's the thing. I think he's outgrown being one of the other just Cactus Jacks, people in the background for sure.
Yep.
All right. So most improved. I like yours, but I think we both agree with those two. Okay, this might be an interesting one. I just added it to the rundown because I feel like it just makes sense with the overall theme. But Rookie of the Year. So new artist. Yeah, so best new artist technically, but Rookie of the Year, keeping like the sports metaphors going.
Rookie of the Year, I probably have to say Doechii.
Oh, bro, I was gonna go with that too.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it just made sense, even though I hadn't prepared for that answer. She's just someone who I've heard being praised a whole lot this year, seemingly came out of nowhere, but obviously I know she's been doing music for a while, but it seems like she's been the chosen one by the industry or the culture, whatever you want to call it, to kind of lead the path in terms of female hip-hop or just hip-hop period. So I think she's deserving of that title because that's not a easy thing to achieve.
Agreed. So I agree with with Doechii being the best new artist, Rookie of the Year, or whatever. And I think it's also just because to try to figure out the why behind it. One, the music is sensational, right? So I think the music just speaks for itself. I think hip hop and pop culture has been dying for a female hip hop artist who can be like the modern day Missy Elliott if that makes sense. Like a way that like you take her rap skills seriously, but she can still be silly, still be playful, still be sexual, but it's not like overly any one thing besides it being clearly that, hey, this person's super talented. And I think there's some artistry that we're seeing now in her performances, right? Like I don't know if it was SNL or I think she did one of the late night shows, like maybe Jimmy Fallon. I know she did a Tiny Desk, like where there's like, hey, like I'm doing this because like I want to show you how like my mind works, as opposed to a 21 Savage or whoever. Like, hey, I'm just gonna stand here and sing my songs, right? Like, it's like how is that showing us anything into who you are? So, yeah, I would say Doechii by far. Like, I don't even know who would be second or third place, to be honest. Like, I think it's her by a mile.
No. I think she's deserving it. I don't know who else I'd consider. Granted, I don't think there's that many people, at least that I'm aware of, that could even be like nominated for that title. But
yeah, but I feel like there's like a new rapper every week, bro. Like that's a fucking problem.
There's a new one every week, but at the same time, like the new ones aren't necessarily creating waves. Like they might have one song, but then no one's really checking for like other stuff they're doing or whatever. Whereas for her, like, just her artistry is different. But do you, unfortunately, there's those people that, of course, love to crap on these more like conscious, like edgy artists because they feel like it's maybe too forced or like, ooh, you're trying to be different and it's not hitting. Like, just make regular music that doesn't require me to pay too much attention. People have called it Harriet Tubman music and saying all kinds of crazy shit about her music just because it follows that like weird Missy Elliott kind of formula. Like, do you think?
So is the question what that? Is the question like do we think it's authentic to her or?
Not necessarily. Do we think it's authentic? Do you think that's going to, I guess, be a hindrance like moving forward?
I don't think so, dude. I think it's a small minority. I mean, dude, when you're doing fucking NBC, network TV late night in 2024, bro, they're only putting people that they hope can grab attention, right? So I don't think in today's day and age that they're going to just put anyone up there, maybe whereas it would have been like 10 years ago. So I think the fact that the masses are coming to her in strong waves, I think this is like, either she's being true to herself or whatever this version of her is going to be like here to stay. Because I don't. Yeah. Again, when I heard the music, it didn't sound gimmicky. I think honestly, just seeing her live just gave me like I had the same feeling when I saw Maggie Rogers perform. I was like, oh, okay, I love the music, but then now you see this person who has like their own style, kind of a thing, which I love. Right? Again, you don't want these guys just to be robots or, hey, did you really write this? Because you don't really seem that you're connecting with the content you provided me when I was listening to it like through my headphones. So yeah, no, I think it's here to stay, dude. I think like, yeah, that performance where like her and all her backup dancers' hairs were tied together and they were like in sync and wearing the same like all that shit like adds to it, right? I think that's why I fell in love with Tyler a couple of years ago at his like show. I was like, bro, this is like a proper show. This isn't just a rapper on stage yelling for 2.5 hours and then, not sounding in sync with the, the backup vocals. So like, I think there's a lot of respect to artists like that I'm glad it's being noticed on such a large scale.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with that.
Dude, I feel like you and I went from, should we talk about on the pod because maybe no one even knows about her, to like she's on NBC like 2 weeks later. That was like a very aggressive also like switch to like, dude, everyone knows her now apparently.
Yeah, no, she's on a song with Katy Perry, which is actually pretty dope. And so clearly she's in the door and being pushed. And I'm glad, even if there are obviously like marketing dollars and stuff going behind it, I always support it if it's someone who seemingly actually cares about the art and not just having a number one hit.
Correct. Also, because like I feel like that's also one of the albums that like was cohesive this year. Right? Like you could listen to song 1 through 12 or 15 or whatever. And like it made sense. Right. Yeah. As opposed to like, hey, this was a good body of work, but I only really liked 4 of the 10 songs because the rest didn't really go together. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So shout out to Doechii, Rookie of the Year, unanimous decision on Audio Theory. Let us know if there's someone else we should have been checking out this year. We will next year. So you want to do Song of the Year next or Album of the Year?
Let's do Let's do song of the year.
Okay, so song of the year. What are you gonna go with?
Song of the year. I mean, is this personal or like if we were giving out awards? Like,
Do both.
okay. So if it's personal, I'd probably say Euphoria by Kendrick. The reason being, I think it just really like the foreshadowing and setting the tone of like all of 2024 to me is still something that I revisit with awe, just from start to finish. And it's crazy because I think when you sent me the song and I listened to it first listen, I felt underwhelmed for some reason. But then as time went on, and maybe it's because everything unraveled afterwards, I revisited the song and I'm like, oh shit, like Kendrick was playing chess and Drake was playing fucking, I don't like tic-tac-toe. Like it was a completely different game, not even remotely close. And I just think it's brilliant that he dissected Drake in such a like methodical way for 5 minutes or however long it was. But in terms of song of the year, I think like it's impossible to escape Not Like Us. Just the insane impact that song had, and everybody and their grandma was playing it, and it's just not something I would have ever expected to happen to Drake, let alone by Kendrick Lamar. Like a club hit calling Drake a PDF file or alluding to that being a thing is pretty insane and pretty difficult accomplishment in my opinion. So the fact that happened like needs some sort of recognition, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like what other. Yeah, dude. As far as like the song, it has to be that song, right? And like not unfortunately, but like it has to just be like.
Yeah.
I'm not saying. I'm saying more unfortunately because like it kind of takes the like, oh damn, but what about this one? What about like? I think it's like it has to be that one, right? There's not even much of a debate as far as overall impact, the amount of times for how long it was the number one song in America, let alone like in hip hop charts and stuff like that. But if we're going personal, like song that I feel that I replayed the most. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like, hey, this might be crazy, but I feel like Family Matters was that song to me was one, if not the best diss track I've ever heard in my life, right? Like as far as beat changes, flow changes, the things he was saying, like the amount of people that got dissed in that diss track, for it to sound cohesive over 3 verses, like I mean, again, I didn't listen to Not Like Us that much when it first came out, but like I go back to Family Matters multiple times a week at the gym just because like I want to get that energy again. So for me personally, I think Family Matter was like my song of the year. And I think if this was any normal beef, like if the beef didn't have Not Like Us and didn't have like Meet the Grams, that I think I told you this when it happened, bro. Like this is where like my annoyance with the beef overall, like to your point, he was definitely playing like master level chess, right? Like Kendrick was 100%. But that chess move of dropping a song, whatever the song, bro, the song could have been fucking a rendition of Barney's I Love You, right? But him dropping a song 10 seconds after this guy dropped Family Matters, I don't think anyone was able to truly appreciate the song, the video. Like, bro, he had a little snippet on his IG page before. Like, it was, dude, that shit was beautiful, right? And I think people just moved on too quickly because it was like, whatever was going to drop next was going to grab that, and do the fact that it happened 10 seconds later or 10 minutes, whatever. But bro, I would say Family Matters, dude, in my book is like a top 3 diss track of all time, bro. Like all time.
No, I think musically, like that song is still amazing. I revisited it a lot too. I think what's hard for me to escape is I felt, and
the
understandably,
result?
well, yeah, the result, and then also just so much of it involved like easy targets that won't respond, or if they do, like no one's gonna give a fuck, like ASAP Rocky and stuff like that. And I think those dishes were like super scathing and like actually made me chuckle and stuff. But then the Kendrick stuff, it's like height jokes and like just other shit that didn't obviously paled in comparison to how disrespectful Kendrick was getting. And I think, yeah, it was, I mean, honestly overshadowed by Meet the Grams and then Not Like Us. And it just made it hard, like to your point, to really appreciate the diss when it paled in comparison, because Kendrick's just focusing on you. And then you're over here trying to diss this guy over here, that guy over here. So like none of it was all like lighter jabs, and Kendrick's over here like stabbing you in the neck.
Yeah, legit, dude. Yeah, and again, we I know we said this a million times, but this is the recap episode of the year, so it's fine. But I think that was like the biggest thing that came out of this. I think we just understood how much this guy genuinely doesn't care for Drake for whatever reason. It could be his character, it could be jealousy, whatever it is. There's like a genuine hatred there. Whereas I think we're like, and again, I could be wrong, but listening to the diss tracks, right? I don't think he was taking it light on Kendrick because like he was afraid. I think he was taking it light on him because like, bro, I don't know really I don't know you like, bro, I don't think of you the way you think of me, kind of a thing. Yeah. But like, I know that like you're the only other person who claims to be like fighting for the title with me. So yeah, we'll do this, right? And I have faith because I'm so skillful at making songs that I'm gonna beat you. But like, yeah, dude, besides calling you saying short jokes and you wearing a size 7 shoe and hey, maybe your man fuck your chick, like I don't really know you like that, bro. Like, I don't really
yeah, and that's why I'm like, I know people will say Kendrick's jealous or whatever, but I think it clearly is because Kendrick hates what Drake represents and not necessarily cares about his personal life. I think he's just like, you're the poster child of everything I hate and I want to destroy you. Meanwhile, to your point, Drake is looking at Kendrick like, oh, you're an individual that doesn't like me. Let me find some shit I can say. Kendrick's over here like trying to dismantle every fucking fiber of his character. And
yeah, bro. Like literally, like, bro, like his hair, bro, like the braids, like, dude, that was Euphoria, right?
Yeah,
dude. Again, Euphoria. Again, my thing is like, bro, like similar to like people, I guess, with Family Matters. Like, I heard the disses from him because like how could you not, right? For the pod, for our own understanding of like who's winning. But yeah, like no, Euphoria was a very good song. I don't know if I would put it like, I don't do for me for song of the year. I like, how often do you replay that song though?
Euphoria in the gym. It was I think number 2 of my most played of the year, according to Spotify Rap. So there was a period where I was playing it a lot, mostly in the gym. I mean, honestly, that's where most of my songs get played. So
same.
That kind of skews the numbers a lot because I'm not going to listen to some like Andre 3000 flute song or some shit in the gym. But it is long as hell. Pause. So it's also something I'm not necessarily looking to. I mean, Family Matters is long as fuck too. So both of them, I'm like,
yeah, but I think
before I play it, it's like watching a movie. I'm like,
but I think with Family Matters, I think it's a more bearable listen. I think I'm gonna just say for the neutral, right? Because obviously we have like preferences, but I think for the neutral, it's a more a bearable listen because of like the beat changes and then he goes to like singing on the hook, like he makes it a song, right? Whereas I think Euphoria is like 5 minutes of him like really telling you, yo, I fucking hate this guy, bro. Like,
for me, I think Euphoria, it's more of the awe in
it.
But I've appreciated Family Matters over time as well too, when I've like the beef quieted down and I just have more time to just appreciate what Drake was trying to do. That middle beat is still fucking amazing. All the beats, but yeah.
Yeah, and then again, I think it's also a reminder, like, again, I think in getting caught up in this, like, it became, I think there was moments where it was like, oh, it's the lyrical rapper versus, like, the pop star. And it's like, bro, like, if there's nothing pop star about Family Matters. That's a if not one, top 2, top 3 rapper rapping his ass off. Right? Like, that's not like a pop star just trying to like create a song that may be catchy, right? Like, I don't think there's anything on that song trying to be catchy besides like phenomenal bars, right? Like, that's what I think gets lost the most. Cause like at some point this beef became like, oh, it's the rapper versus like the pop star who pretends to be a rapper. I'm like, bro, let's not be silly here. Like, that's not what Drake has ever. Again, I never saw Drake that way, right? I think I've always seen Drake as a rapper who became so fucking big, he inevitably became like bigger than rap, and then became a pop star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, cool. So I think we're pretty unanimous. Not Like Us. I think it's gonna win the Grammy for rap for Song of the Year, and then we'll see what it does. I doubt they'll give it. You think they'll give that Song of the Year overall, or like Rap Song of the Year?
Euphoria?
No, Not Like Us.
Oh, Not Like Us.
Is it nominated
it's
for Song of the Year? Hold on, let me check.
It's a good question. Shabuzi. Oh yeah, it is.
It is. Yeah, bro. I don't know, bro. I feel like there's no way, dog. There's no way they allow that.
It's gonna go to no. It's gonna go to fucking either Shabuzi or Taylor Swift.
That Fortnite song, right? Or Birds of a Feather. I mean, Birds of a Feather probably might have been bigger overall. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
But
Definitely
I can't see them. I don't know, bro. I feel like they won't even. Yeah, dude. If they did
Rap,
that,
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, rap, it's a no-brainer. But I feel like that won't even be aired. So like, it won't even be like. They may not make it that. I don't know, bro. If it is, dude, he is headlining the fucking Super Bowl that year, a week later. So maybe. But yeah, you don't think it's gonna win Song of the Year overall, do you?
Nah.
Yeah. If anything, I think Shabuzi would. I think a bar song would be actually ahead of it.
Yeah, because I mean, it's more just family friendly and like universally loved. Like Shabuzi, I would like him to get shine. Mainly, selfishly, I think. Like more black artists within country deserve some shine, so I hope that happens.
Yeah. But I agree with you with that. And
one. It's a great song. Like that song alone kind of made me want to listen to country music.
For how long did you have that feeling?
7 minutes.
Okay.
Well, I listened to some of his other shit and it was pretty dope. But I get the appeal now because it is relatable music. It's like my wife left me, my dogs fucking died. Like everything is super relatable, so I get why people like it.
But I think there people were saying, I might have to download that album for the drive. But I think a lot of people are also frustrated because apparently he has like other legit hits, but like whenever he has to do like a show, like a small, they're like, nah, only Shabuzi, only the bar song, and then get the fuck off stage. Like it's only like no one lets him do any other songs when he's doing like a public show.
That's fucked up.
All right, so let's go to the rap albums of the year. So what do you think album of the year would be?
Let's see. Of the nominees,
no, like our audio theory's opinion, but I'll let you know what the nominees are just in general, just so you know. Okay. So, Death of Slim Shady, Eminem, Alligator Bites Never Heal, Doce, Might Delete Later, J. Cole, and then the Auditorium Volume 1, Common and Pete Rock.
It's funny because I feel like the nominations are always like 90% of them are albums I didn't listen to. Shit.
I mean, you heard the Doce, J. Cole, and Eminem one.
Yeah, I've heard those. This year might be different.
Oh, and We Don't Trust You. My bad. I don't want the people to say I'm fucking a hater. So apparently also We Don't Trust You, Future, and Metro Boomin.
Man,
I remember GNX is not because GNX missed the deadline.
Yeah, I mean that would have been my choice. I know it wouldn't make the deadline, but
yeah. But what's your choice? Like, what would you say? Hey, what was the best album for you?
Probably Doce. Granted, I haven't revisited that album like really at all, or any of these albums to be honest. But I think in terms of just like coming into the game with a refreshing new perspective / sound and image, I think it separates itself from the pack. I don't think any of the other albums, at least the ones that I've heard, accomplish that same thing.
So is this, you're picking out of the Grammy nominees, or you're saying to you personally that was your favorite album of the year?
Out of the Grammy nominees, my personal favorite album, I think we had mentioned it previously, but probably The 21 Savage, what was it? America's
That
American
was your
Dream?
album. That was for you. That was your album
Yeah.
of the year.
Yeah, American Dream. Yep.
Nice. Dude, I feel like we fucked up though, and I think this is more of our bias kicking. Oh, I'm gonna speak for myself. I don't want to speak for you, but I think this might be our bias. Dude, apparently everyone's saying that Glorilla album was phenomenal.
Yeah, I heard that from a girl at work actually.
And like, but not like for all the reasons like we always think people like love Cardi or Megan Thee Stallion. Like people are saying, dude, she's rapping her ass off on that album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's amongst all the female rappers, she is one of the artists that I know little about, but low key always liked her and like was rooting for her because she just seemed like she was not on the same like, oh, I'm pretty, so let me just talk about, sucking whatever for 18 songs. From what I've heard, like her shit sounds like super hype, like Juicy J.
Yeah.
Memphis rap.
Yeah. She's had some pretty amazing viral moments. So I'm probably gonna listen to the album too. I got a fucking 30-hour journey on Wednesday. So
plenty of time for that.
Yeah, I got plenty of time, bro. It might be number one on my recap. Not in my seats, bro. Not in my seats, bro. I wish I had a booth. All right, so you're gonna go with American Dream, 21 Savage for your album of the year?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Kendrick Lamar, GNX. I just think it was the most enjoyable. Honorable mentions. I mean, the Doce album, Tyler the Creator. I would say, bro. So I don't know the YouTube comments. So jump in. Some of the Instagram comments, dude. Like, I know we enjoyed Schoolboy Q's album, but you felt like, did you ever feel at any point of that was like one of the most cohesive, best albums you ever heard?
No, and I would say I'm biased towards Schoolboy Q because he's one of my favorite artists, and I didn't revisit that album really much after. So
there were a couple ones that we loved, right? I think "Thank God for Me" was one of my favorite songs of the year. There's a couple other ones, but I think even though he's not very LA, which I personally like, right? Because sometimes we spoke about like LA artists, sometimes like just art on beat, like it's just like their approach. But I feel like there was moments that it was like almost like too West Coast. So like it kind of took away from like the overall appeal of times when you have just like it could just be a rapper. Like I feel like I never think about Schoolboy Q as like a West Coast rapper until like that album where it felt like maybe it was like the overall movement coming from like, Kendrick this year, but like it felt like that one he wanted to make it very clear where he's from, which is not a bad thing, but like it might have just made it more like isolated to like that region loving it as opposed to like being more cohesive for the masses.
To me, it actually didn't sound very West Coast, but I felt like the production wasn't as good as it could have been. I don't know. When I think of Schoolboy Q and like all the hits I love, like they're very hype bangers that you'd want to hear live.
Yeah.
And I know he's evolved and like he's a dad and he's trying to mellow out and be more reflective and stuff, but it's hard when you get introduced to an artist in one way and then
they just change.
They take a
which
different
is fine.
direction.
Yeah, which is fine. Because I think everyone would say Mac Miller, rest in peace, said that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just weird when people kept bringing up like his album, and I was just like, I mean, bro, I love that. I love him, but like, I didn't think that album was tremendous.
Yeah.
I know Vince Staples.
Like the right answer, like if you're gonna support,
like if you're a hip-hop purist. Yeah, for sure. And then people were shitting, I don't know if you saw this one too, but people were shitting on GNX because it's like, well, that's Kendrick's worst album, so how can it be the best album of the year?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bro, that just gives more testament to what a shitty year it was. Like, I don't think that doesn't change anything about how good the album was.
Also, I stand corrected. I meant to say GNX was my album of the year. I was caught up in like what
the Grammy said
should have potentially make the Grammys. Yeah.
Got it. So you're saying, so I think we're on the same page then. So we're Audio Theory saying GNX should be album of the year, is our album of the year. Like of all the bodies of work that came out. I agree, bro. Like, it's too good. I think there's a couple of songs that I understand that we just didn't like, but regardless of that, bro, like I've never heard an intro like that. I've never heard samples done so well. And then also this is probably the most, I don't want to say bearable because that makes it sound like it's annoying, but this is like the most fun I've ever had listening to Kendrick Lamar, right? Like you've had moments on Good Kid, Mad City, but like it's not every song, right? Like I feel like this is like a more fun version of him, even though he's saying like some aggressive shit as well. I think this is still like a version of him that I think is way more digestible to like people who aren't like diehard Kendrick fans.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, he did a phenomenal job with it.
So do you think to make changing the subject a little bit, but staying on him, do you think like where would you rank this one amongst his other bodies of work? Like, is this like a top 3 album in his catalog? Do you think this is like just being overhyped because of like the year he had, or do you still put this like highly ranked in his overall catalog?
I feel like Good Kid, Mad City just has to, for me, still remains number 1 just because it literally plays like a movie. And like when you think of what makes a great album, that is like the epitome of it. So I don't know how anything else compares. But beyond that, I personally, I think GNX would be number 2 for me in terms of like how much of I've enjoyed a project from him.
Yeah, right. Like again, there might be a scientific fact that like Damn is his best overall project or whatever, but I'm just talking about like, bro, like enjoying that shit, bro. Like I don't like not enjoying it because other people told you it was good, so you're like, all right, this is the best album I've ever heard. Then like I feel like you listen to GNX and you're like, bro, this is so much fucking fun, bro. Like I went into that shit like, fuck this, watch him flop, blah blah blah. Like the hype got to him, and bro, within like the first 5 seconds, you're like, oh, bro, this is gonna be so good. Like, bro, this.
Yeah.
So I think Good Kid, Mad City is the best, but then I would put GNX in his top 3 album for Kendrick of all time. Like
for sure.
Yeah, like I think then it's like I personally enjoyed Damn, but again, I know I was late. Like I didn't listen to I didn't really care for To Pimp a Butterfly. I didn't really care. I mean, I enjoyed Mr. Morale, but it was so long and so heavy that I'm like, bro, I don't want to go back to that shit. And then wasn't there another one that was super famous, like Section 8 or
Section 80?
Section 80, yeah. Like that's like a very well-respected project too, right?
Yeah, that was my intro to him. It's super dope. But again, it like a lot of the songs are all heavy. Pretty heavy. Or like have some deeper meaning to it, which isn't an issue. It's just sometimes it's hard to revisit it. Yeah.
And again, not the Drake comparison all over again, but like if you're not revisiting, then how much did you really like it? It's something like I go to, right? I think about like some of my favorite movies. Like, bro, dude, I'm rewatching The Sopranos, bro, for the 7th time, right? And I feel like, and that's a heavy show, right?
Yeah.
But it's also my favorite show. Right. So like because I enjoy it. So it's like if you don't enjoy it and because you're not going back, like how much did you enjoy it then? It's kind of like my take on things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But GNX, all your theory approved. We both agree. So looking back at 2024, MVP, Kendrick Lamar, we kind of split on either Tyler or Playboy Cardi or Travis for like that second spot. Rookie of the Year, we agree unanimously with Doce. Album of the Year, we agree with GNX. Song of the Year, we both agree with Not Like Us. Honorable mention to Euphoria and Family Matters. Is there another award we should give out like for 2024 that makes sense?
For 2024? How about like maybe most likely to succeed in like 2025?
Based off what we saw in 2024?
Yeah.
That's a good one. So let's go with that. But I'll just add real quick then just to put 2024 to wrap it up. I would say honorable mention for albums of not maybe moments of the year. I would say The Vultures moment was a dope moment for 2024 that I did appreciate. Like that I'm grateful that those albums dropped this year because I do think when I think about moments where I was really enjoying listening to music, the Vulture projects were definitely a part of those moments.
Yeah, fully agree. And I hope there's like a Vultures 3 of some sort. Oh, Bullies, I think what Kanye seems to be working on or was rumored to be like the next step for him, I guess.
Yeah, and hopefully it just has like still that Ty Dolla $ign influence coming through. So so what was going to be the next award? You said something from 2024.
Like I guess rappers most likely to succeed in 2025. So who's going to be not necessarily stealing the show of 2025, but be a talk of the town when we do the 2025 wrap up.
Bro, so what I believe is going to happen and what I think the media is trying to make us believe. So what I think the media is trying to push on us heavy is that Lil Baby is about to have the biggest year in the history of hip hop in 2025. That's what I think people are really trying to push on us. Do you agree with that?
I agree. That's the narrative that we're ending the year with. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is odd to me, bro. Because I really, in my mind, I was like, bro, like we had our doubts when like the movement was building, but like I don't know, I never just fell for it. So if I had to think, I mean, dude, I'm gonna say I think 2025 is the year that Playboy Carti is just like out of here. Like as far as like he is now like a pop icon. People are actually listening to his music for him. Like when the album drops, people are like every kind of music fan is looking for it, as opposed to like a niche, side of hip hop or whatever, or rock or whatever the fuck you think he is. But yeah, I think my prediction would be like, yeah, Playboy Carti becomes an artist that everyone's talking about different songs, as opposed to now where it's just like moments that we're like, oh, that's pretty cool, right? But I don't never really think everyone's truly diving deep into whatever the fuck he's saying.
Yeah, agreed.
So you would go with that same artist, or who would you think for you?
I definitely agree with that. I'm trying to think if there's someone else who's like, I guess, an obvious answer for 2025. I would say I'd actually go with that too. I think just given like the feature on the Weeknd song and what Academics is saying about Carti dropping at some point soon, which could be anywhere within the next, or anytime within the next fucking 5 years. I think Playboy Carti's finally leaning more into his brand and like trying to be the guy or one of the guys in a more open format. So yeah, I'd say 2025 we definitely get more of that push from him. I don't think it's gonna be anything personally groundbreaking, but the fans have been waiting for something, and I think just because his fan base is so diehard, like whatever it is, he could burp for 40 minutes and it'll still do numbers.
Yeah, but I think there's also like a different energy around it now, right? Like I think like, again, not to compare because there's no comparison, but like even with Kendrick, like this year, like I do think even though like we both enjoyed this album GNX greatly, I do think there's something about like, dude, there was so much energy surrounding him that like it was almost inevitable that whatever he dropped, like everyone was gonna eat up. Does that make sense? Like it was just like much like momentum behind it, bro. Like it's almost like you're too big to fail, like, bro, we're gonna just like don't fucking flop, like don't make this a bad album, and we'll rally the troops to get everyone behind you. Almost on like some, like Jack Harlow dropped his first album, we were both like, I don't know, but then everyone still loved him. They're like, no, it's fine, we'll drop another one, bro. Like, momentum, you're new, blah, blah, blah. So I think for Playboy, I think that momentum is building up because, dude, think about it, man. Since like April, it's just been a nonstop phenomenal feature run that's like, dude, like I think it's just all leaning into he's going to have a good year next year.
Yeah, for sure. And to go back really quickly to the Lil Baby point, I still to this day think he's just way too one-dimensional to take over. Like,
yeah,
the reason why Gunna's thriving is he's making like vibey, easy to listen to like Atlanta trap shit, and Lil Baby's always been on that like piano fast, like overdone trap beat that only dudes in Atlanta probably mess with. And I don't think he has like the strongest hook making ability. Like none of it just clicks with me, and I feel like I like that kind of music, and for me it doesn't work. So I just don't see how in this day and age he's gonna take over, especially with Kendrick coming in and people kind of demanding more out of these guys. Like I don't see Lil Baby ever resurfacing at the level he was like during the pandemic or whatever.
Yeah, and my thing is like my favorite Lil Baby moments are either certain verses, but they're not overall songs, right? Like it's either a verse he did for someone else, or it's a verse where 42 Doug is like the person on the hook, right? Like it's never an entire song of just him, like never. So that's how I'm like, bro, how can you be the guy? I mean, but again, dude, he seems to be beloved though, like on some over the top shit. Like again, I feel like the media is really trying to, like the hip hop media is really trying to make us believe that like this Wham album is going to be the greatest thing that ever happened to hip hop in a long time.
I mean, I think he's just like Roddy Ricch and all these other guys. It must be super hard to wake up and be the guy, and then all of a sudden everything you're trying just doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Like, fuck, how do I get that, chase that high and actually get it again? And I feel like he's finally just reached a point where he's like, all right, I gotta go on a press run and do this and that because I miss being the guy. And I can't let Gunna, fucking be out here stealing my shine.
Yeah, dude, and shout out to Gunna, bro. I think Gunna is also a great story from 2024. Like, just like he didn't let that like "fuck you mean" moment be like a one hit moment. It was like an overall like, oh, he's back, and like let him do his thing, and like enough people are co-signing Gunna that it's like no one cares, you know?
Right.
Okay, so that's a great prediction. So who do you think the 2025 MVP is going to be though?
Still Kendrick. I don't think he's letting up at all.
Still Kendrick. Kendrick, bro. I mean, I don't know. My thing is like, I feel like history has shown us that like, I don't know that people have been able to keep, again, and he's defying logic because like him having everyone's ears since March, damn near a full year is crazy, right? But man, I don't remember someone having the ears of the people for that long, right? And I feel like we already gave him enough credit for the Super Bowl this year, even though it's next year, right? But it's in February of next year, bro. I can see a story where like, unless he drops another album, which may be possible, man, I don't see him like having back-to-back years as the king, bro. Like, I don't know. I haven't seen that from him before, right? Like that would be out of the norm for him to even want to be in the spotlight, right? Let alone the people want to give it to him, bro. I don't know if he wants that. Unless you think he's fully prepared to now be in that role now.
I mean, I feel like he's already like defied physics and broken every possible like rule there is to the game. So I wouldn't be surprised. And again, like I feel like we're in this era where there's even though Kendrick's a superstar, the bar is also super low, and I just don't see anyone else.
Like who else is going to be unless Drake makes a complete 180 by like August or something. Like yeah.
Right. And I don't really see anyone having a moment that lasts more than like a month or two, because there's no artists that are really capable nowadays that can last, half a year or more than a few months. So in Kendrick, I think if he drops an album, just before summer or whatever, all it takes is one or two viral moments, and that'll bleed into the rest of the year, and people will be too afraid to drop or like what have you. I just don't see anyone else really stealing the shine of 2025.
Okay, so Kendrick Lamar MVP back-to-back years. That'd be interesting, bro. Okay, so my MVP for 2025, bro, who's it gonna be, This is tough.
Jack Harlow.
Nah, even though I saw a video, I feel like he's trying to come back on the music scene.
Oh no, he is, but it's too much.
It's the same thing. It's the same. It's
well, he's just leaned too far into the. Let me just pander to. Well, let me just exploit the white girls that like me and not make a single song for guys ever again.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Danny's prediction on Audio Theory for MVP of next year. Bro, I'm gonna go Travis. I say Travis follows up his last album. It'll be already 2 years or so, and I think we get a body of work that's again, maybe I don't know if we love it or not, but I think there'll be enough momentum behind it. And again, it's not going to be Drake Kendrick related, so it might even be refreshing, right? Like just to have new songs, new bangers, not the same people. Even though again, he'll have a future, obviously features stuff like that. But again, not the same two people we're talking about for the last 13, 14 months. I do believe, bro, like the only reason why I push back on Kendrick is because like I do believe the attention span of us like consumers now won't allow it, right? That's the only reason. Like I don't even think it's not he won't put out a body of work that's worthy of it. I just think the attention span of everyone would be like, bro, we're over it, bro. Like just get the fuck out of here with that, right? Like that's the reason why I push back on the Kendrick Lamar one, but which is a good one. But yeah, I'm gonna say Travis Scott. I think Travis Scott just takes over, or has the ability to take over again. And I think we'll get another album next year.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I think if Kendrick does do it, I anticipate it'll be a different sound from GNX. I think it'll be more so that neutral, you know, I got this guy Travis or whoever featured on this song, and like it's not the GNX formula. That's what I expect if he does drop an album, and in that way the attention span won't be as like relevant to the listeners. In that instance. Yeah.
So give a couple bold predictions for some things that will happen or won't happen in 2025.
So my bold prediction is that Drake will not drop a solo project at all next year for the first time. I'm pretty sure he's dropped some sort of.
He didn't drop a project this year.
For All the Dogs, was it this year?
No, last year.
Well, I guess that's not a solo project either.
No, For All the Dogs would be considered a solo project.
But it wasn't. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Either way, I think this 2025, he's not going to drop anything but, you know, a random single here or there, or random song here or there with somebody that he's featured on, or like a song dump or something. But in terms of like a project that Drake is stamping, like, guys, check this out. I want to do 500,000 first week, like that type of shit. I don't think.
So you wouldn't count because they're saying that he's gonna drop the Party Next Door joint album next year.
That one I'm not counting because it's a joint album. And it's not really like
okay.
So we can say rap then. I guess he's not gonna drop a rap project next year.
To put him in that conversation, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's always like an out with this if it flops. It's like, oh, but dude, he just wanted to, you know, make an album with his boy. Like, you know, this is working in the year. I got it.
Yeah. So no rap projects because the PND I won't consider.
Okay. So a couple bold predictions for me. I say one bold prediction: Tory Lanez will be free next year. I feel confident about that. I mean, again, her just coming out and saying that she wants a restraining order and stuff like that. Like, why are you talking about him? Right? Like, this guy's in jail. I think for meant to be like for another few years. So I think there'll be enough evidence that Tory's out next year. And I think another bold prediction is I think by the end of 2025, you will see the audience eager or pushing for some kind of Drake return to making, like you said, like a rap project. I think there'll be an eagerness from the audience just from all right, we needed a break from you, but we didn't want to take a break from you, right? Like, I don't think, like, again, because the way he's moving, it's like, oh, fuck, dude, is he ever coming back? Right? I think there will come a point where the fans are like, all right, bro, like, we just needed a little hiatus from you because it was overkill, but we love you. We want you back. So I think that happens. And then my last bold prediction for 2025 is that I think Diddy goes to jail for life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think Diddy will not see the light of day. Yeah, that's what I'm again, I don't know how bold that is, but I don't think Diddy's ever freed from any of this shit.
I would say, my other bold prediction would be that Drake essentially hints at his transition out of rap. So he's going to, whether that be working on a film or, you know, pursuing some endeavor outside of the gambling thing, I think we're going to see him divert his attention to some sort of other industry or position to where it's like clear that rap is no longer his baby, you could say. Our favorite child.
Got it. And you know what's crazy, bro? Like, again, this is where, so like my initial pushback, and I get why you say film, right? 'Cause I think a lot of Well, he was an actor initially, right? So that makes sense. I think a lot of rappers have gone that route, like go to Will Smith, Ludacris, LL Cool J, like, bro, again. And these are people now who sometimes you think of them first as an actor, not a rapper, right? I think it's just weird because I'm not saying I agree or disagree. Like, there's so much logic in what you're saying of him transitioning. I think it's just because, like, with those other artists, they were never the person for that, and if they were, it was never for very long. So the transition just felt, like Jack Harlow, right? Like, it just felt like a natural transition, right? Oh, like, you tried that, you made your money, the audience has told you they're ready to move on, so you decided for other ways to, go about your means, right? With him, we've never had an artist be number one or number two for this long, right? 10, 12 years. And he's, since becoming a rapper, he's never acted, right? He made it very clear, like, bro, I live this rap shit. This is all I do. So I think, like, again, you might very well be correct, but it's just odd. Like, even though history always repeats itself, it's just very interesting when it comes to him, because, like, this will be the first time someone of that stature is essentially walking away with, like, their crown in their hand, right? Like, all right, I guess I got to go now, right? And it's just odd though, bro. Like, that's the part of it that almost, like, makes me sick, because I'm like, no, bro, this is meant to go on forever. But again, no empire, dude, no empire in the history of the world has ever lasted forever, right? But it's just interesting because he's so different from, like, a Will Smith, a Mark Wahlberg, a Ludacris, LL Cool J, bro. Think of a rapper, Busta Rhymes, like, bro, like, those guys were just people in the game. Like, this guy was the game, bro. Like, that's for me at least, that's, like, the drastic difference.
Well, the reason I say that is, or part of the reason I say that is, I feel like he and, like, 50 Cent, for instance, are like two peas in a pod. Like, it seems like business is first. And I think Drake, maybe, this is all speculation, but viewing this, like, the music industry as, like, a line item on a fucking, like, profit and loss sheet. And he's like, all right, like, if this isn't worth my time this year, then, I'll go produce this new show with whoever and, like, make my money there, or create this fucking liquor brand or what have you. So I think he sees rap a lot differently nowadays than maybe he did in 2009 or whatever. I feel like he's kind of done it all, been that guy, and he's reading the writing on the wall, and not necessarily going to be on forever. But I think similar to 50, I think 50 even said it in an interview, like, at a certain point, 50 said he got out just in time, because he's like, at a certain point, they're going to try to push you out. And I feel like Drake's at that point where it's just like, fuck, like, I'm not wanted anymore. Like, I've been here forever. And so why not, start a fucking pickleball brand or something?
Yeah, that'd be sick. OVO rackets. Yeah, no, dude, again, I agree with you. I feel like the only difference with him, though, and, like, again, man, 50 came in during a time where, again, he had a moment with Get Rich or Die Trying where he was the man, right? That's one album, though, bro. Like, at the end of the day, during that time, he was still competing with Eminem, competing with Jay-Z, competing with Kanye. Like, he was one of many, right? And I think he was able to, I think he saw the writing on the wall with, like, all right, man, people are getting a note of me, like, beefing with everyone.
Yeah.
I have I have other endeavors. I lean so aggressively gangster rap, right? That, like, this really isn't appealing for everyone. Whereas with Drake, bro, like, I feel like, man, he's, like, the only one who's been able to keep it about the music and still get the bag in a huge way, right? So that's what I'm saying. I just feel like the transition for him will just feel different. Like, I think it'll be even hard if it were to happen, if it does happen, for us to even believe the transition, because we're gonna be like, bro, like, we don't want you doing, like, I don't want to see you on a fucking random, like, it's cool when you do a cameo on, like, Lil Dicky
Saturday
show
Live or some shit.
yeah, something like a little, like, funny shit, right? But you're Drake doing that. We're not trying to see Aubrey Graham as, like, a fucking leading, I don't know, bro. Like, we would have seen that already, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just something you decide to do at fucking 40. after being the number one hip hop artist in the world for the last 12, 13 years. Like, that's the part where, again, I agree with the take. I just like, because again, I truly believe like history repeats itself constantly, just different variations of it. But like, yeah, that would be wild, bro. When that, if that were to happen, because yeah, it's just going to feel so odd for, I think, day one Drake fans or just normal hip hop fans. Like, what are we doing now? Like, you're just like not around, which is why I think my prediction is that it's like, I think by the end of the year, everyone will have their time away where you're able to come back and be like, all right, yo, here's some bangers because I know y'all missed me, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that may be the case. I think he's just like, every post I see from him is like, oh, this random cologne brand, or, you know, steak, or like, you know, him talking to some random streamer, or him over at some promoting some fucking like barbecue company. I'm like, what are you doing? And clearly you're making money. If you wouldn't be reposting half this shit if it wasn't paying your bills. So I feel like his mindset is just like, let me get the bag and go to Turks and do whatever for the next 365 days because I can't win. Like, there's got to be someone in his ear now who's finally like, yo, chill the fuck out. Like, just stop making music for a while.
Yeah, stop putting it out. Like, stop putting it out. Which, again, maybe he's finally listening. But cool. Any other bold predictions for next year?
I think that's pretty much it. I'm really curious how 2025 is going to pan out, to be honest.
Do you think, in a nutshell, do you think the quality of music, because of Kendrick or for whatever reason, gets the bar gets risen and we just get better quality moving forward?
I don't know if this is a bold prediction, but I think West Coast artists will take their music more seriously. I think we're going to see more of that pop up in a positive way. Because I've already been seeing a lot more collaboration within that part of the country. So I think that'll definitely change in terms of just overall quality of music. I would say, given that, you know, Trump is going to be president and just people are going to kind of be on edge, a lot of things going on. I feel like in times of change, it just kind of triggers inspiration in a lot of people. So I'd say so, yeah. You would hope so. Yeah. So I would personally say that the quality of music will be better than 2024. Again, a very low bar, but still, I think there's a lot of factors that personally I would point to better art.
But what's crazy is I feel like better art comes from like oppression or being told what you can or cannot do. And I think this is like the first time where like, I think also like every rapper is like in support of Trump.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair to say. People didn't really like Biden. But yeah, I guess it just depends on what direction things go. Like if
the overall mood of like everything, right? Like if there's a hurricane or a fucking volcano eruption or earthquakes every 10 seconds in LA, like, yeah, the mood's gonna change and like we gotta talk about this shit, right? So no, I feel you, but it's just odd because usually when it's like a new white president, and I know besides one president, it's always been a white president, but you know what I mean? Like the same old white regime. Usually there's pushback. And I feel like this is like the first time in a long time that everyone's like, yeah, bro, it has to be Trump. You know what I mean? Like, he's the only chance we have to kind of get shit back on track or whatever.
And I think people don't want to admit it, but a lot of these rappers and just people in general see themselves in Trump. Like, I've heard rappers talk about the grab them by the pee thing. And I think rappers are seeing that not as like a predatory thing, but like, oh, he's probably messing with girls who like want him to do that. And, you know, I like him keeping it real. I don't like any of that like sweet political diplomatic bullshit.
Yeah.
They see him as like one of them.
Yeah, which is, again, go back to Mac Miller like in 2009 and stuff, right? And they fast forward fucking 15 years later. So no, I agree. But yeah, I think Kendrick and that's a great point. Kendrick and those other artists on that album. Again, dude, that's like the first time we heard a good Roddy Ricch verse in fucking years, right? Like it took Kendrick Lamar saying, no, go back in the booth to it again for us to get a good verse from him. So yeah, I think music will get better. But to your point earlier, I think the bar wasn't that high going into the new year. So yeah, cool, bro. Any last words on the year before we get out of here?
No, let's get into it.
Let's get into it, bro. So let's do a quick heat of the week before we wrap up. Episode 199, last episode of 2024, which is crazy. So if you had to give a heat of the week before the year's over, what would it be?
Before the year's over, I'll give this one to an artist called J.O. I believe he's from the UK, but he makes it's definitely like Caribbean Afro beats type music. And this song in particular is called like HMM with Popcon.
Oh, nice.
OVO affiliate. So yeah, it's just a very smooth track. And as you know, like from time to time I get sick of listening to rap, and it's nice to switch it up. And I have like a separate playlist for moments where I want to vibe out and not listen to, hypothetical murders and shit. This song is very smooth. The video is pretty cool. It's just like a bunch of girls in what's it called, a salon, like doing a dance routine, and yeah, just great vibes. I've heard other songs from him. My brother Corey sent me one, and then that got me down the rabbit hole. This song in particular is super dope though, and I think he did a really good job. So I check him out if you're into that kind of music. Yeah,
send me that, dude. I can't find it on Apple, but send it to me when you have a second. Dude, for me, it's going to be the song you sent me a couple weeks ago. I really enjoyed it. Played it back multiple times. Handling Business. Was it DDG and Tory Lanez? I mean, dude, to your point that you were making, so I'm just, echoing what you said to me offline. Dude, that's probably the fact that Tory did that verse in jail is insane, but bro, Tory is rapping his ass off, bro. So maybe he's just in there like practicing his craft because he doesn't want to, get into any more shit out there. But bro, forget the OVO and Drake shout out. Like that verse was fire, bro. Like being on beat, just again. So I think all these things are, I don't know, man. I feel like he's gonna get out. And I think this was a nice way to end the year for him in general. Like, I feel from a music point of view, I think the masses are way more curious about what he's doing than what Megan is doing, which again, I feel like enough people, like when he gets out, like he won't also be blackballed by a lot of people, because like, I think enough people are like, bro, either you did it or didn't do it. We don't believe you did, but it's fine. Like if you just make good music, we're going to support you. So I think this Handling Business was a nice direction in that, a nice song to go in that direction.
Yeah. And it's also still wild to me too that, because I think he mentioned he didn't want to snitch or whatever in the song. It's wild to me that if he in fact is innocent and someone else, shot Megan or whatever, that, he has that much like pride in the code or whatever to not say a word when he knows for a fact he didn't do anything at all. So I mean, maybe he knows that like career wise it's the better move because he won't be able to snitch or like point out.
Yeah, dude. But my thing is like no one ever looked at this guy as a thug though, right? Like this guy made R&B.
But he always raps about like it's like thug adjacent.
Yeah, thug adjacent for sure. Like yeah, for sure, dude. One of my favorite song, and I know like Charlamagne, so I'm not taking this from, but like one of my favorite songs is like my favorite album is the Balloons one or whatever. Can't think of the name of the album, but he has like the song called Shooters.
Yeah.
Dude, Shooters and Bust It Down are like one of my two favorite songs, bro. But Shooters specifically, it's like like all you do is like, and it's like, bro, like we don't believe you, but it sounds amazing, so we'll believe you. But yeah, you're right. It's like thug adjacent, right? Because like we don't think you do it, but you like making music about it, and the music sounds good, so we're like, all right.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, my dude. Well, listen, man, let's get out of here. But before that, again, obviously a great year for us. I think we grew more than expected this year, which is amazing. We'll have more in store for you guys next year. But to you, my brother, I love you. Obviously, we'll talk before your birthday and again Christmas and all that stuff. But I just want to thank you again for a great year. We're going on year 5 of this, which is crazy. If you think about it, for us to just be doing this, episode 199. So. Yeah, bro, can't wait for episode 200 and just see, where else we can take this. But it's there was definitely moments, and I know you felt this, where we're like, damn, we're still doing this. And then you get you get these random reminders of like people engaging. The numbers are way higher than you thought. Like I was like, oh, fuck, okay. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, it's dope. I was talking to a friend last night about it because he had a podcast as well. And I was telling him like, yeah, it's been like 5 years. And we pretty much never, I mean, we only really miss weeks if it's like vacation or holidays. So to think over the past 5 years, and each year we maybe miss like a month in total, is pretty insane, because I can't think of any other thing that I consistently did for 5 years in a row besides eat and breathe.
And get a haircut.
Yeah. And get a haircut.
No, for sure, bro. But I'm excited for next year. We'll plan everything when I get back. But enjoy the holidays, bro. Love you. Let the people know where they can find us. Let's get out of here.
Yes, sir. Catch us at audio-theory.com. New episode every week on all platforms, or mostly every week. And if you're on YouTube, peep down below. We got merch for you to cop. If you're listening, just head over to audio-theory.com. We also have the Heat of the Week Spotify and Apple Music playlist links on there as well. Otherwise, please like, subscribe, comment, do what you can to support the channel.
Do what you can. Love you, bro. Peace.
Love you too.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.